What is going on, guys? Pretty crazy day in the market. Like I'd put in chat, a little bit of a recovery today in a lot of the major indices. If we take a look at the SPY, we saw a big run up today. And go ahead and take a look at the 5 minutes here. SPY throughout the day, big push, 371 at bottom and 377 at top. It's a pretty big move out of the SPY. We closed pretty decent pressure. After hours was up just barely, but I think it'll be enough to push us in. The last candle was 1,000 in volume, not a ton, but not bad for considering after hours in the last 5 minutes. So we'll be looking for a push there. On the 1 minute, it's 200 in volume, not huge, but so the SPY probably gonna be looking up tomorrow. We're gonna see the Dow Jones, S&P and Nasdaq all move as well. As far as the big ones you guys are concerned about, GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, all these ones, EXPR. Are they going to squeeze? Is it over? Is it not? What's going on? I did a lot of reading, looked at a lot of data tonight, and I think that there is still a chance for a squeeze to the upside. Everyone in the Wall Street Bets internet culture is going to say, yeah, there's still a squeeze, right? Because everyone's holding diamond hands. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, but there is a lot of short percentage that's still available. It could be squoze, and it could push GameStop. If it keeps going and it gets volatile like this, like it has been, it'll get pushed well over, to the 500, 600, 700, 800. 1,000's not out of the question, but who knows? AMC does not have as much of the numbers don't support AMC squeezing as much as they do GameStop still. So we'll see. There's a lot of narratives, of people trying to push, silver squeezing. Silver squeeze won't happen the same way that it will, something like this. The price of silver is controlled on a global level in a lot of places or in a lot of ways. But there are a lot of not illegal practices, but practices with silver where people are selling, you own this much silver and it's just on a piece of paper. There might not be any actual physical silver to back it up, so that's pretty dangerous as far as the market goes. So it could still squeeze. I wouldn't hedge all my bets on it, but definitely, people were. I watched an order go through today. I was looking at the order books afterwards. $1 million order went through on $800 call options for GameStop. So there's big money out there. Definitely still believing that it's going to go up. Take a look at a few things today that we want to go over. So, Sundial, I've been putting this in the chat, did work today. Awesome moves from down here in the 90s, all the way up into the 130s and after hours, 120s. With a penny stock like this, a small cap, it's not quite penny, it's a small cap just over. That's really big moves. I caught it right in the $1 range, right as it broke here. This is a strong resistance on dollar. We saw a touch here, 1, 2, 3, and then here, and then it broke out, false break, and then I grabbed it right in here as it started to break up again. So good play, holding overnight because this administration they're big for that. So other names, larger caps, Tilray, TLRY, ACB, which is Aurora Cannabis. Those are definitely ones that gonna be watching and definitely playing Sundial. And the charts on Sundial are, even though it's a penny stock, it's super easy to chart this one. Right here, for example, this is a great example right in here, where we see this run up to the top here, and right, so this becomes a resistance line, and we should chart style line. I gotta fix the color on that. There we go. Make it black, a little bit darker. So you see a resistance here, and then meanwhile we have an easy, support under here. Right, the forms twice. Make that black as well. And then as this is forming, we see a wedge come in, right? Which is right in here. Come on. Here into there, right? And you guys can see the next one, I'm sure pretty easy, right? Which is from here into here and perfectly breaks out, and this is a, 1230 to it's a 45-minute move, watch, and just waiting for that to squeeze up out, and it's perfect. So things like that left and right, especially when it's in this bullish trend here, we're seeing a lot of this, and I mean, that's pretty chartable, right? It's following the trend, give or take. These are some false breakouts, not the most beautiful thing, but all right, so Sundial, I've said enough there. BCRX. This was actually a call out from my grandfather today in chat. Great call out. Shout out to you for that one, grandfather. And he called it out. I think it had moved a bunch, and he was like, "Hey, what about it? It's a huge jump up." So let's take a look at the daily on this for you guys to get an idea. Um, so this was our move up, and then huge gap, and we're talking, from the 8s all the way to 12 in the day, and it's because they got rated as the most undervalued stock on the market. Some big, group put out a article on that. So big jump on that. Definitely on watch for tomorrow. I have some holding after hours. After hours we did well. We're up almost 9% in after hours. So that's a big one. Gonna be watching. As far as the trading throughout the day goes, it followed patterns pretty well too. I really liked this in here. So this is a good example. I picked it up in I picked it up too high. Let's see, I grabbed it up in these tops up in here. Yeah, I think like the 1180 mark. And then I was like, man, do I sell out? Because it started to come down. Here's a false. It comes right back up. Said, okay, we're good. And but then when I got nervous is when it breaks this here, right? And we'll set that as a default so it's easier. It breaks this here down, so I'm like, I don't know. And I didn't want to use a day trade, but I really liked the volume was staying really high and strong in here. As you can see down here, we're staying above the VWAP real strong too. And then what I loved in here was right here, this. So here we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 test, and then this becomes a really strong support, right? And it comes down, wicks it, boom, doesn't even touch with the base of the candle, just the wick, and poof, launches back up. And that was enough for me to know that I could hold on to the stock for the day. After hours, lots of things can happen. And then we had a big push up into the 13s and finished at 1288, just shy of 13. And we're probably going to see moves into the 14s, could be 15 tomorrow. It's trending on StockTwits. That's a big one. CCIB, real quick, starting to make a recovery. Jared called this out in chat today, that it was making a recovery and perfectly called. And we saw a little bit to the downside here, but it held. This is a key level too. It's holding this first breakout candle after this bull flag. Really important that it holds at least the middle of that, and it did, right? So we see another upside. Probably, and then after hours was up 11% to 28, so it's already above. Definitely going to gap up in the morning on this. I wish I'd grab some of that, but I'll tied up another stuff. And then the other one that's interesting to me is CTRM. Now this is a really small penny stock, but here's the daily, right? A little bit of a bull flag. We're trading at 70 after hours, barely any change. But what's interesting to me on this is if you scroll out, look at this perfect cup that's formed here, this bowl, and we have this plateau to break out here in the 80s, right? Right in here is a really low level, and so we're just starting to get to the top of this. So this could be really interesting. It's on watch. I don't usually like to, trade these penny stocks long term, a chart like this, unless it's something like Sundial where it's a strong industry and it has so many watchers, or if it's something like this, a really good chart. Otherwise I'm only going to trade them like in and out in the day if something's getting pumped and dumped off of news. So those are some really interesting watches. The CTRM. There's a few other things as well I wanted to show you guys. I went ahead and looked through, and this is a really good tactic, is to go through and look at the top gainers. I use bar chart, use Webull to find that over the past 3 months. And a couple that I want to look at that are similar charts, BNGO. We're going to take a look at this on the daily, right? So huge jumps up, and we're seeing, right, we're starting to come into here, these levels. So here and here, right? And this is nothing, what I'm charting here, that's really nothing, but this is a little bit, here off this touch, this is starting to form a really strong bull flag in here, and that even shows it some more, right? This wedge here. If it can hold these levels, we could have a definite another break to the upside. People really like it. Another one with the exact same chart just about is OEG, right? Another one, and that's easy. I don't need, I'll chart it for you guys real fast, right? Simple to see. Now, that's not to say these will stay this, we could bull flag more, but if I throw in, where is our indicators? Bollinger Bands, right? So we've had a huge squeeze in here and then a big open on the Bollinger Bands, right? Huge, huge open. So now we're going to be watching for this testing in here, right? And we're still above our moving averages, big time cross, right? So if we can hold above these, then we can get another breakup, definitely. If we go into a smaller timeline, say we go into like a 30-minute, yep, exactly. That's what I was going to look for, is the Bollinger Band starting to re-squeeze in here as things come back together, and even maybe the hourly would be better on this. Yeah, so we're just seeing a big squeeze into the Bollinger Bands as this starts to form. We'll take those off because it's a mess. We do want volume still, and we want our VWAP. Okay, so back to the daily, and one more or two more like that are actually really good. GEVO. You guys see it again, same kind of pattern, right? Same kind of chart. And a lot of things right now got beat up because this GameStop squeeze. They were on a huge uptrend where people were pulling out of other things that were moving to get into these other charts. And so those are three examples. And then one other thing I really like, last one, and those bull flags something to look for, IDEX. This is not the same kind of chart, but we've broken this high. And if I go to weekly, we're at weekly highs. Last time we saw anything, whoops, like this, was in 2018 at 575. We're trading at 447 and after hours, big time. So that's what I have on watch. A few things I'm going to keep adding, the main things I'm watching, which are the SNDL, BCRX, CCIB, CTRM. Those are my top watches for tomorrow, definitely. But these here that we're looking at are just some of the things that are on longer watch, maybe for some swing trades, for some options plays as well. And that's how it's going. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the chat, in the comments, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, and I'll be happy to help. I'm thinking of making maybe a Discord actually, because we've got a lot of folks asking about what's going on, and the chat can only get so big. So let me know what you guys think. See ya at the bell.